Hi everyone. So I guess everybody's really wondering what exactly happened to lead me to try to go into a legal battle with LAUSD. So I'm gonna try to kind of explain roughly what exactly happened. So when I enrolled my son in school, I went in to volunteer with him because he's nonverbal and he was still not potty trained. So rather than me just kind of seeing if the school would take care of him and change him whenever needed and whatnot, I volunteered with him every single day. So we hadn't got the IEP at this point, which is an individualized educational program that's given to children with learning disabilities or special needs. He went into a general ed class. The teacher was super extremely amazing. The TA, like, they tried helping me as much as they could with Benny, but he wasn't adapting very well to being in a classroom with so many children. So what I decided to do was investigate where he might go after his IEP, which was a classroom with children with learning disabilities. May have not, but just the thought of it being a chance, I wanted to go see for myself. So when I went into the classroom, I noticed that there was children in that classroom of different ages with different. Sorry, the video got cut off. I noticed that there was children with different ages and different types of developmental learning disabilities, and there was just one teacher and one TA. So I asked the teacher, I said, hey, like, these children are of different ages. How do you do it to be able to teach them if some of them are 6 years old, some of them are like 8 or 9 or 10 even. And she expressed to me that she would have a difficult time teaching these children, that she'd have to try to teach some kids their sentences while others just would have to sit there and kind of color wait for her. Then she'd try to come and teach the other kids whatever level they were at in their learning. And I thought to myself, like, how is this possible? How is it that LAUSD is okay with having one room with a lot of children who could benefit from one-on-ones and therapists and more help? Like, the teacher was telling me that there were children who would attempt to run out the door. So for a few months she had to teach these children from the foot of her door, so then she wouldn't be able to go and stand behind each child one-on-one the way she would attempt to. She'd have to just try her best to, from the foot of the door, teach the class. And so I thought that was like, it didn't seem right. So I started to do a lot of research as far as like laws and stuff for children with disabilities, and everything that the laws were saying seemed to be in conflict with what was going on. Like, they're saying that these children need to be able to be provided free education with the least restriction possible, but a child's restricted when they're thrown into one single classroom with one teacher, one TA, and no other sort of help. So they all kind of have to just wait around for their turn. So it just seemed really, really unfair to me. So I went to the LAUSD Board of Education's meeting. That's where you guys are seeing the speech, and I gave my speech, and I thought, okay, well, let's see what happens from there. Maybe they'll help, maybe they won't. I was placed into a conference room right after the speech, which was really strange because no one else had been taken in like that. And I spoke to a woman who, I'm not gonna say names yet, but she brought me into this conference room. She was like, oh, hey, like, what's going on? Like, can you tell me a little bit more about, blah, blah, blah. I explained to her exactly what I just told you guys, but, in further detail. And she seemed kind of like she wanted to help, but at the same time, not 100%. So I kind of had the feeling in my heart that maybe she just was like, oh dang, this person's gonna create problems. Let's see how we can stop her. So she told me that I needed to get the IEP so we can start unlocking doors, and so we can see about maybe building a pilot program. So, because I told her, maybe we should build a separate classroom setting and separate these children by ages and hire more help, another teacher, or if the teacher can handle, both classrooms, that's fine, while TAs, ABAs can be there with, the other children, speech therapists, the works, because this is what these children need. And so she was like, okay, get the IEP, and then, we'll talk. So I did the assessment for my son, and he got assessed by the speech therapist, by the OT, by the school psychologist, by everybody in his school. And when I started to notice that, I started asking questions like about what an IEP is. And so they told me that basically what it is we all get together and all the therapists tell you, okay, yes, we think that your son needs their speech. We think your son needs OT. We think he needs let's go ahead and have you sign this stating that LAUSD is going to provide this, which, speaking to other parents, they try to provide you the least possible. And we'll either put them in the general ed classroom or in that classroom, who I'm not going to say the teacher's name, but in the classroom that I was just speaking to you guys of, the one with the children of different ages. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm not going to sign for that. That's horrible. Like, you're not giving me anything that I'm going to be happy with. What I'm going to be happy with is if you build this, this, what I call mini school, this little classroom setting for these kids, which, I'm not even asking for too much. So I emailed the lady and I told her, like, hey, before we sign the IEP, you think you could just come so we could talk about that pilot program that you were speaking of, where you say that we could probably build something or whatever. So the meeting that I had was yesterday. That's the one, yesterday was May 20th, I think. That's the one that's on my Instagram or whatever, where I asked everybody to wish me luck, and I went in all excited thinking that they might, build this program or whatnot. And it actually went extremely terrible. They literally gave me like the runaround as best as they possibly could. They told me things like, well, those kinds of things are built for if a school contains about 8 children with autism, and as far as I know, it's only your son. And things that you're kind of just like wow. So and if you guys want further details of more stuff that they said, we said, me and my husband, I can go into further details. But just basically, just with that, I thought to myself, okay, I'm not going to get the help that I need from these people. It's fine. I told them I'm going to go ahead and go down a different route, and we'll see what happens. So because basically they were like, no, like, we're not going to build that. Like, there's children that could be bused other places, and there's no room. So this is why I decided to start doing all this and go into legal action. And I haven't actually started that journey. I have an old friend that was extremely kind, and he's a lawyer. So if I could get a hold of him, great. If not, I'll go ahead and find somebody who can help me. And yeah, that's basically it. Sorry if I really, really suck at videos. I'm super nervous person. I don't even know what to say half the time. But thank you everybody so much for watching.